You're listening to Biz-Souls, the business podcast with an edge, hosted by me, Rona Lewis, and Jeffrey Hansler. Tune in for perspectives and discoveries about the changing world of business. It's time to connect to the heart, soul, and humor of how business gets done. And it's us, and another version of Biz-Souls. I'm Rona Lewis.
I'm Jeffrey Hansler, and we get to the heart and soul of business and the people that make it happen.
And it's us again.
It is us again.
It's us again.
We had this is number 5 for
He's
today.
making me. I'm sorry. I'm wearing the same shirt 5 weeks in a row. I do bathe. I do change my shirt. He doesn't, but I do. We're just doing a bunch of them in a row.
Whether she bathes effectively or not,
that
only I
leaves to
know.
be said. Right.
I know. So we're talking about, and I brought up another subject since I'm pushing this through. Hey, Rona's gonna be traveling about for a bit.
I'm gonna be in London for a month. Yeah. I'll be in London the month of May, so I'll probably be back by the time this airs. But that's besides
exactly. You will be.
I had a great time. I had a great time when I was there.
This is good.
All right, good. Did you want to hit the start button on that?
On what? Oh yeah, we could. Well, that's just an extra timer.
We time ourselves because Jeffrey doesn't like to talk a lot. He does like to talk a lot.
No, I think we should get it tight. I like tight
because he has to edit
it done. Yeah, sure. Let's get it done. So we're talking about culture, and we're talking about consistency, and we're talking about congruency, and we're talking about AI, all in this one subject. And here's where it came up.
And what's the subject?
The subject is aligning your sales and your tech teams.
Oh, okay. Right. This is based on an experience that he just had, yesterday?
Yeah, with Frontier and Verizon. Okay. Verizon is taking over again from Frontier. They sold it to Frontier, and now they're coming back in. And so they jacked my bill up, and because I was an old grandfather plan, so I called. And
you're a grandfather, so that makes sense.
Exactly. So they called and they said, "Oh yeah, we got a new plan." So the sales guy on the phone, was obviously interested in bonuses. He's incentivized with bonuses.
He was selling.
He was selling. Now we had a long conversation, and I know my systems and what goes on with the systems here. So Verizon gave you an option to buy the modem a long time ago instead of paying $10 a month, which I bought it, years ago. That's paid back a million times. And then I've got a box that has been up there 30 years. That was again a Verizon box. So
in the attic, that's where this is.
And we want to increase the speed from 100 Mbps to 500.
Okay.
So going from 100 to 500, and it dropped my bill down. So the tech guy arrives and go, "Oh, I see you moved," because they had originally put my phone number. The account was created under the wrong phone number, and they said, "Oh, well, you can just exist. We can't change it." This is like 30 years ago. So it was under a fax line, which I haven't received a fax. And so they had to have my main phone number as the account number. They had to close the account and start a new one. Well, they obviously couldn't do that in their system. So the guy said, "Oh, you moved from like 3 streets over to here." And the tech goes, "So you just moved here?" I'm going, "No, I've been here for, quite a while."
25 years?
Yeah. No, 27 years. Yeah. So anyway, and then the tech guy, now understand how expensive this is. The tech guy, first of all, the tech guy was great customer service, great everything. And he was here for 4 hours, mostly just sitting on hold while they had to straighten everything out. Ugh. And I said, "Well, do you have to swap the box out up in the attic?" He goes, "No, that's the exact same box we're using." So they're using the same stuff from 30 years ago because that hard tech hasn't changed on it. So what does it have to do with AI? Well, the customer contact, first of all, it takes you a while to get
We just talked about storytelling. He's just telling a story.
Yeah, well, first of all, AI is the interface. So you want the customer service interface, and then you have to talk to a rep. So I called Frontier at one level, and she goes, "I can't help you. You got to go over to our loyalty section." So the loyalty section should be a full reward. And then this guy, I explained to him, I own the modem. I explained to him, he goes, "Well, how's Wi-Fi throughout the house?" And I said, "I've got multiple routers multiple nodes around the house picking up the Wi-Fi. So it's strong in every place." And at 500, it should be even stronger. I haven't checked it yet. And then I explained the boxes, and it was all easy access. He said, "Well, we're gonna charge you for the new equipment." I'm thinking, "Oh, you need new equipment for that," and I'll give you discounts on it. And so they get there, and then the tech guy's on the phone with headquarters with their contact, and I'm hearing her over the phone going, "There are 6 different orders in here. There's not a single order." And one of them says he moved, and one of them says this is a new account. The other one says it's an old account and stuff. So there's no congruency. So my confidence from the sales guy plummeted had not the tech guy been. And Chris was amazing. Chris, if you're listening to this, absolutely amazing. He was just calm, easygoing. He was hanging out. And he goes, "This is going to take a while. I know it's going to take a while."
He was eating the Mana chocolate from the
exactly
that we just had.
Exactly. And he kept checking and testing it out. So they'd lost my phone number. First of all, they'd given it up because they had to cancel the other account.
Just like half the women that you try to give them to, just lose my number.
Yeah, my number's what? 888.
That's right. Go away. Sorry. We digress. I'm a little loopy. Sorry.
Here's the thing. It's a competitive, it's Verizon and it's Verizon or them against cable companies, and they're all fighting it out. I've got to tell you, there are people that would have just freaked out and said, "Just give me the old stuff back. I forget this stuff." Because the confidence level, you could just tell there's no communication. And the salespeople knew nothing about the tech that was going in. I told him, given him all the information that he would have known the equipment. So it's a cultural thing. Somehow, and I'm sure the call center, the loyalty group is completely outsourced. It sounds like it's come from a different country, and
just saying.
And AI can help smooth this process down, except you've got to have the systems built in it that makes sense. And if you don't have the systems that make sense, it's just a disaster. And so companies, and it was very popular in the 90s when tech first came out, that they would have you talk to effective communication. You wouldn't want to call it sales communication for the tech staff. Okay. And because there was so many changes going on, and the salespeople weren't designed to have all that technical information, or they were adverse to it, and so they'd screw things up. So your tech thing, especially in the copier field, I don't know how many trainings I did for copier companies at the tech level about how to calm down a customer, how to help the customer through it, how to not slam your company and say that salespeople were absolute idiots or didn't know what they were doing, and still, make it a cohesive situation. So have you had any experiences like that? And with AI, everything's just moving faster. And if a company doesn't straighten this system out and get tech and sales on the same, same wavelength, it's gonna spell billions of dollars.
That kind of happened when I remember a couple of weeks ago, I had to bring my computer in to be fixed to Best Buy. And
the geek guys,
yeah, and they're like, "Oh, we have to wipe everything and then put it back on." And then they had me buy like a 2 gig backup
to put all your stuff on,
right? And they're like, "Oh, so when I came back, I got the computer. I didn't think to open it. Nothing on there.
They hadn't even loaded the operating system.
Yeah, no, the operating system was there, but my desktop, I'm like, where's all my stuff? And it's on the backup drive, and I was like, I put the backup drive. None of my desktop was there. They had some other stuff, and so I called them. Well, we'll have to put you in touch with wherever. I didn't have to take everything off. It was all in OneDrive, and they're like, oh, well, they should have, if they knew what they were doing, or if they had the information, I could have told them that, and they just didn't talk to each other. They really didn't know what they were doing. I was so pissed off.
Yeah. I was doing reconciliation on Amazon purchases the other day, and this is my fault. I came across a charge. I couldn't find it anywhere on the card. I'd switch cards for that one. And so Amazon, it doesn't say what card it is right there when you're looking at the charge.
Mm-hmm.
So for Amazon, they're always messing around with buttons and stuff. It should say what card you purchased on easy as you're going through your orders.
Okay.
Because if I had seen that, I would go, oh, yeah, it's on a different card, which is why I couldn't find it. And I had a bunch of returns. And so first of all, it's almost impossible to get somebody on, you have to look all over. They don't make it easy to find somebody. When you do find somebody, then I went in the chat and the chat guy's looking down. He goes, oh no, this was the order for this. And then and there was no communication about, maybe it was, I told him I was reconciling and he didn't know enough about accounting to ask,
Who does?
Yeah, exactly. Well, which card are you reconciling? Had he said that, I would have gone. So we messed around and it wasted his time, my time, and I felt stupid because I should know this stuff.
Felt?
Feel, felt, found.
Okay.
I originally felt I was stupid.
Now I know.
And now I know. I
He's
found out
stupid.
that
He's not stupid.
So anyway, so that was it. I don't want to belabor the subject. It's just that it's a big message. It's a big message for companies out there.
Yeah.
You've got to draw a line. And this is a thing. When I was doing my research for the paper that I working on getting it published, the Six Sigma is in almost every field. It doesn't connect to the sales team now.
What the heck is Six Sigma?
Six Sigma is about quality and reducing errors and reducing
it was
downtime.
a tongue twister. Try saying that 7 times fast.
No, Six Sigma, but there's black belt. There's all kinds of stuff with it. And it's a whole drama thing with that. Except the whole concept is about efficiency and about where do you find efficiency. You don't wait to have stuff get done wrong and then fix it in post-production because that's very expensive. You want to catch these as quick as possible. And then the idea is, like, for example, one of the big switches they made is management used to have to shut down an assembly line in car companies. And they've turned it over to the frontline people because the frontline people would see when there was an error and they could shut it down. And that is a Six Sigma philosophy, to give as much power to the front line. Well, they need to give, there should be, one of the things companies can do is have their tech team explain what they're hearing in the field and then pass that information on the sales team and then get those two working together so you can have because a Six Sigma process requires from end to end. And the sales always falls down, and they're incentivized differently, and they have different expectations on them. And I think in the AI world, the sales teams are going to really have to improve their game.
All right, get on it, salespeople. Perhaps you should use Jeffrey. Bring Jeffrey into your company for his sales training.
Per se. Do tell.
Not that he's going to be playful like I will, but he'll teach it.
Exactly. I'm going to be. Well, we just talked about emotional abuse with Renee.
Right, he'll be whipping him.
I'll whip him into shape.
He'll be all Glengarry Glen Ross on you.
Exactly. And then we talked about cognitive dissonance, so I'm going to just show them how wrong they were. No, we're not going to do that. All right.
Anyway, all right. That's our story. We're sticking to it. I'm Rona Lewis.
I'm Jeffrey Hansler.
Thanks for playing. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Biz-Souls podcast with your hosts, Rona Lewis and Jeffrey Hansler. Did you have fun? Subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It's very much appreciated. Talk to you next week.